Welcome to another episode of The View from the Ninian, where Bradford are being celebrated by being pecked by the Bluebirds. A 2-1 victory at Valley Parade for the mighty Bluebirds leaves them clear at the top of League One. Joining me as always, Ben Price, Tom Phillips. Ben Price, Wagwan.
It's happening, but all right.
Tom, how are you?
Oh, not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Well, we're celebrating a win, so of course things are good. Let's get straight into it, Ben. A big win yesterday at Valley Parade over Bradford, 2-1, taking us, I think, 9 points clear of them in third. Going into the game, Brian Barry Murphy won Manager of the Month. Andy had a shave. How nervous were you because of that?
I was convinced it was a 4-0 defeat incoming. I mean, the omens were there. They were bad. It was bad juju in the air with those happenings, and I was very, very worried it was going to be a bad afternoon for us. But look, the world's unpredictable these days.
The world is very unpredictable. We are in a geopolitical climate that cannot be explained, Tom. I suppose the ultimate question is, does BBM look better with or without a beard? Because I'm coming round to the non-bearded BBM, but I want to know your thoughts.
I think it's non-beard for me. He looks unbelievably fresh. And it takes...
He does look unbelievably fresh.
It takes about 10 years off him. It blew my mind, finding out his age when he had the beard, and now it's off. Honestly, he could easily just turn out for Cardiff and he wouldn't look too old to be on that pitch. He's a good-looking man. Fair play to him.
Ben, you kind of shook your head. Do you think you prefer him with a beard?
I just don't like change.
Oh, right,
he came in with a beard. I'm used to him with a beard.
Stay with a beard forever.
Yeah, that one until he's never leaving. So yeah, beard forever, I think.
Beard forever, I like it. Then he made a couple of changes, not just to his facial hair. Callum Chambers came back in alongside Osho. Turnbull came back in the middle of the park. Pretty much a masterstroke in the end, wasn't it?
Who's that to? Sorry, I was distracted.
I said Ben. You weren't watching.
Sorry, I saw a picture. I was looking on the website, a picture of BBM. He is good looking, isn't he?
All right, answer my question. We've already talked about that.
Yeah, but they were changes I did like. Funny how life works, isn't it? We spoke about it before. We spoke about it last week about how I felt like Chambers needed to come in to really shore up that defense. That's exactly what he did. I thought Chambers looked outstanding. Just everything about it. There was it was a lot of that team I agreed with. You can get a little bit nervous still with Osho at the back, but I can see exactly why he did it, and he justified his pick as well. It was a really, really good team. I was very happy with it.
Yeah, Tom, obviously Chambers came back in, was one of the better players on the pitch. Do you think he picked him because of his big game experience, or was it just a classic bit of BBM rotation? You know, he likes to chop and change his centre halves. It felt like it was Osho and Chambers' turn, but it just felt like to me he went with him because he has that kind of Premier League experience, and Valley Parade is quite a big, close ground that can kind of intimidate people.
Yeah, I think it's right. I think it's exactly that, really. I think he's unfazed by those types of games, and when we've got quite a lot of young players across the park, it's good to have that experience back there. But it's funny with the centre-back partnership because, half-back about 2 months ago, we were going, well, there's no doubt that Lawler and Fish are our starting centre-back pairing now. They've played themselves in. They're moving for the rest of the season. And then look at this. We go away to probably the hardest place to go in this league. Completely different centre-back partnership, and they were fantastic. And I think it just slowly shows, through the last couple of months, that we have got not a huge amount of depth, but the depth that we've got is quality. Anyone who comes in can do a job now. And that was our probably most worrying position when Chambers wasn't in great form earlier in the season. But he's slowly becoming one of our players of the season now. His performance yesterday was fantastic.
Friend of the pod, Hugh Davis, who's part of Not the Top 20, he sent some stats through yesterday when we were talking about the game. You can have 26 starts in the league. Fish 17, Lawler 16, Chambers 12, 7 Osho. So Ben, that just shows that the rotation is working, isn't it? Because you've got all these players who can come in and out. The defensive partnership is looking stronger every week, but we just have 4 quality players who can play there.
Yeah, it's like Tom said, it's depth, isn't it? And that's exactly what you need at this level. It's 4 excellent centre backs at this level, and I think there's a couple there that are going to go on to bigger and better things. I think you've got a real nice mix of young. You forget Fish is still very, very young. Yeah, and
Puscod, saying by his proper name, please. With Puscod.
With Puscod. He's destined to play there's definitely potential for him to go on and play at a much higher level. Like a couple of years of good development under a good manager, it wouldn't surprise me to get Premier League interest again. Lawler, we all know, is destined for massive things. I think him being out of the team isn't sort of like the end of it for him. I think he's going to do very well, and he'll play. There's lots of football to play, and it also shows sort of the days of like we're sort of, I guess, especially me. I've always been convinced that to be successful, you need a set centre back pairing. You look at the years we've gone up, we've had that sort of solid centre back pairing. Whereas like in the red shirts, it was Hudson and Turner. Before, after that, then it was Moz and Samba. Moz and Bamba. You always sort of think, you need those two solid centre backs and that set goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper position picks itself. But yeah, we're at a place where any combo that those four can play, and now I'm starting to feel very confident. I thought Osho is really, really starting to prove that his start was just that. He was just a blip. He was struggling to find his feet, but he's starting to settle in now. He's starting to feel like a proper confident player and like show the ability we knew he had, and why Luton fans were gutted to see him come to us and not go back to them. So it's exciting.
I think yesterday with Osho showed in the first Bradford game, it felt like he was putting too much belief in his own ability, and that's why he was defending the way he did. Like the Sarcevic penalty he gave away against Bradford was because he thought, I'll always get there. I can always catch that up, and he didn't have to like track with the ball. Yesterday showed that he's just doing the basics really well now. Like he's making sure that he isn't leaving things. He's getting on the ball. He's playing the simple passes, and he's not trying to overthink things. And I think that's the best compliment I can give him, because he's class. He's obviously class. But before, he was just over-egging his own ability. And now I just think he's playing to his strengths. And I think that's the really important thing. Tom, it wasn't the most exciting of starts. It was a very cagey opening sort of 13, 14 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was not a lot going on. The ball, it was quite sloppy from both teams. You could see, I think there's a nervousness to both teams because, both teams would have gone into this thinking this is probably the biggest game of the season. Bradford are trying to keep on tabs with us and we want to pull away. And it felt like that for the first 13, like you said, 13, 14, 15 minutes, whatever. But like, I'll take that in a game like that, as long as the home team aren't fully on top from the outset. Considering the result we had against them last time at home, like, I think that's absolutely fine to start like that. But, and obviously we'll get on to it. We improved after that point. But yeah, very, very cagey start to the game.
Yeah, I think both teams recognised the importance of the game, and neither team wanted to give the inch in that first few minutes. So it just meant that the ball was going back and forth. Neither team really got a handle on it. But we really made it count after about 14 minutes, Ben Price. First question, how long have we waited for a Die Turnbull, or as someone says in the tweets, Die Turnbull, Thunderblaster?
Interesting turn there, Turnbull.
Yeah,
go for that.
We'll come and talk to it later.
Yeah, but I think that whole performance is exactly what we've been waiting for Turnbull. Yeah. I think there's no doubt in his quality. He can hold the ball up well, but he seemed to bring it all together this week and capped it off with a brilliant goal. I think to shift him, the way he shifted the players and got it onto his more comfortable right foot and just place it over the keeper, it's a wicked goal. But yeah, it's great to see him sort of perform what we're capable of. I think the game suited him, and I think even if we did have both options at 10 with Kellyman and Colwell, I think it wouldn't have surprised me to see Turnbull starting that. It felt like it's the right area for him. But he's starting to live up to it at last, isn't he? He's starting to finally earn the Die name. He still hasn't hit the magic hat yet. I still can't sing that and go for that, but I think he's now justifiably called Die again.
I like the magic hat song. I think I do know what you mean, because Peter Thorne had it because he won headers. That's why it worked, because he was like a guy who headed the ball a lot. Die Turnbull doesn't really head the ball a lot, but I don't mind him having it. Tom, it was the kind of goal that we all kind of expected from him, wasn't it? Because it was just a touch of class. As Ben says, it was a lovely touch inside. He sent two Bradford players for a hot dog and then just lofted it over into the far corner. We've all been dreaming of that, haven't we? And how sweet was it to actually see it in action?
It's a fantastic finish. I think it's not the Thunder Bastard that we were kind of hoping for, if you know what I mean. It wasn't one that rolled out that he's put his laces through it. It's composure. It's moving it out of his feet and bending it into that far corner. And to be honest with you, it's a kind of goal that we should probably see more of from our team, because the way we play, we get to the byline, we get the ball in the box, a lot of intricate passing. There's a lot of ball that does fall to the edge of the box for our midfielders to run on. And I'm hoping now this will kind of kickstart a few more of those goals. Like, we've seen some beautiful goals from Colwell earlier in the season, but I think we're kind of set up for these. We've got that midfield three were fantastic all game, but they're like a trio who can score those goals. Robertson can hit the ball, Turnbull can hit the ball, and Wintle can hit the ball. So I'm hoping we see a few more. But I'm glad that Turnbull's got it because obviously he got his header against Chelsea. But like,
he needed
a goal like this. Yeah, there we go. But like, I wouldn't be surprised now if we see him go on a bit of a run. Like if BBM sticks with him, which I think he will, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 2 or 3 more in the next 5 or 6 games because I think he's a confidence player and he should have some confidence after that performance because he was absolutely outstanding.
I think it was after the Leyton Orient game, Brian Barry Murphy said that we were trying to shoot and it was almost like irresponsible shooting against Leyton Orient. We were shooting from bad positions, but
there were still a few of those.
There were still a few of those, but it felt
Robertson's one.
Yeah, but it felt like the shots were coming from more central positions. So I think they were bad shots, but they were from better positions. Because I think Wintle had one that absolutely skewed wide. Robertson had one that skewed over. I think Turnbull had another shot in the second half. And there were a couple others as well that kind of come to mind. But it felt like that's exactly the area that BBM was talking about. It's central. You're about 20 to 23 yards from goal. You can just nip it over the top of people and get it in. And I think that's what we need to do more of. It's being cleverer with those shots because they do come off. And I think it caught them a little bit cold. And I think at that point, Ben, that's when we really kicked on. And I don't know if you felt the same, but I think that midfield three yesterday, Wintle anchoring with Robertson and Turnbull slightly ahead of him, it was so fluid at times. There were moments where it was one-touch passing, where we were marauding up the pitch. It was some of the best football I think we've played this season.
Yeah, it's silky again, isn't it? We've got very accustomed to that from certain positions, and probably when it's got into the middle of the park for a lot of times, that's probably where it's broken down. It's either become slow or it just seems great to hold there. Yeah. Now it's definitely probably up until half time from the goal onwards, that half an hour period. It was just constant. It was one touch, two touch, pass and move, really dynamic, and exactly what we sort of come to expect from BBM ball. But it sort of made it happen all across the pitch. I thought, especially in the first half, from there on, we were absolutely outstanding with everything we did. It was just controlled, it was composed, and we looked like a team like in massive confidence again. And it's just, I think that goal and sort of the pressure coming from that really gave the players a lift and really sort of encouraged them that, we can get at these. And
yeah,
to be honest, there was chances there we could have not sort of clear cut. You sort of go, you should have scored that, but we were working it up and sort of creating half chances that something could have come from it quite easily from the rest of that half.
Yeah, and something did come from the rest of the half, Tom. Obviously, we doubled our lead about 25 minutes into the game. We'll talk about the goal. But firstly, was it a penalty on Bagan? Obviously, we'll talk about the Bradford one as well. But obviously, Bagan wins the... He takes the ball past the defender. Defender, I think, shoulder barges him off the ball. I've seen it given. In light of the Bradford, I'm not sure. What was your take on it? Was it a penalty before we got that corner?
I think we've kind of got to speak about the 2 penalty incidents in one go, haven't we?
Yeah, it probably should, to be honest.
Similarities. Yeah. And I think the one on Bagan is a penalty and the one on Sasovic isn't. Because there's a difference between the two of them. With the Bagan one, there's a movement to block him.
Yeah.
He stuck a shoulder out. He's intentionally tried to knock him over. He's knocked him over. It's not like he stood still. It's not like he can't go anywhere and disappear like the excuse they use all the time. There's an action to try and knock him over. Yeah. With the Sasovic one, Chambers is stood deadly still. There's no movement of shoulder or arm or anything. His foot isn't put out and he's run straight into him and he can't go anywhere. So maybe I'm biased, but I think it's a penalty for us and it's not for them.
Ben?
I don't think either way. I think there's a bit of movement, but I'd say it's more him looking to see where the ball's gone more than him sort of deliberately trying to block him. So I can see why the referee's giving it. But I think for both of them, if you give the Bagan one, you give the Bradford one. If you don't give the Bagan one, you don't give the Chambers one, is my feeling on it. I can see there's more of a bigger claim for the Bagan one, but I think, I'd be pissed off if that Bagan was given against us, put it that way.
I'm with Tom. I think the Bagan one is a penalty because as much as he might be looking for the ball, he still makes a movement and he still impedes him. Like, I think Bagan goes round him. If he stands perfectly still, Bagan can get round him. But because he doesn't, he blocks him off and he absolutely impedes Bagan. And I agree. I think someone posted the law that basically says if there's no deliberate movement, then it can't be a penalty because defenders have a right to stand their ground, basically. And that's what Chambers did. And I think Sasovic, he almost jumps into Chambers. I think if Sasovic kind of just ran at him, there's more of a case, or the referee's going to have more of a decision to make. But instead, he kind of jumps and he leads with an elbow a little bit. And I think it was a bit more. I think Sarcevic didn't help himself in that situation. I can see why Bradford, if I'm in the home end and that happens, if that's Salek on an away defender and we're pissed off anyway because we're losing the game, of course I'm going to claim it at the time. But I think in the cold light of day, one's a penalty and one isn't. I saw some Bradford fans basically saying they need to answer to the officials and the bad decision making. There was some terrible decision making by the officials in the second half, not least the foul on Kean Ashford, where the defender rips him down on the halfway line and rakes the back of his ankle and got away with the yellow card. There was a few stray arms by Bradford players. So I didn't think the referee was that bad, and I don't think he was that bad for either team. I thought it was one of the fairer refereing displays we've seen of the season. But it didn't really matter in the end on that penalty, Ben, because we scored from the corner that followed. How nice is it to see a short corner come off?
I'm old school. I like the old. I get frustrated with short corners, and they come off. This was nice to see.
You hate the goal. You hate the goal.
When they work, they're lovely because that's an unbelievable finish from Turnbull. And to see Tanner get 2 assists in that game again, another player.
Turnbull, Chambers.
Really... Did I say Turnbull? My head's gone today. I've only had one coffee. Chambers getting that with Tanner getting the assist is lovely. There is always that when you see it go short to start with. There is always part of me going, "Oh, for fuck's sake." But when it comes off, they do look good. Like that one did look great.
It was a great whipped in low ball, wasn't it, by Tanner, Tom? It gave the defence no hope. And Chambers, I didn't really see it flick off him at first, but it's a lovely, lovely back heel, isn't it?
I still haven't seen it properly, and I've watched it back a few times. I had no idea because I think a combination of it being by that point like midnight as well. I didn't have a clue what had gone on. I sort of hit the back of the net. I went absolutely nuts. Woke up. My partner, and then tried to watch to see what happened and still couldn't really work it out. But that's because of how good a goal it was. Like you said, it's whipped in. There's a load of bodies in there, but it's a lovely finish, isn't it? Just a deft touch like that. That's why you can't see it. And he has got that in his locker, Chambers. Like he has got that composure, isn't he? He's not like other centre-backs who just try and absolutely put their foot through everything that comes near them. Like there is a kind of, I don't know, finesse to him.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And I think but Tanner as well, he's made a very big impact since coming back in. And it's just kind of showed what we've missed in those wide areas. Like we've got players who've got pace, and we saw that later in the game, what they offer. But Tanner, his touch as well. There was a couple of wide, long balls that went to him and that he plucked from the air. God, he can control a ball. Fair play to him. I forgot how good he is at that side of the game. I thought he was outstanding. I think we were outstanding across the pitch. But Tanner deserved those 2 assists because he's had a real impact since coming back in.
I think Tanner, you can really show he hasn't been in an academy. Like there's a lot of players that I think I know it's a very sort of boomer thing of you can see all these players play the same. But when you've got someone like Tanner who's not been in an academy system, sort of constantly drilled, has worked his way up through the leagues, those touches and those sort of moments are probably stuff you don't really get in academy, sort of like the big constant diags, sort of the fullbacks playing it across and those big sort of touches. He's had to learn that playing, sort of working his way up. And that's sort of a benefit to us. He offers something different, because every defender sort of set now of, wingers are going to do this. When you got someone like Tanner who is getting better each week, but has still got that rawness, sort of like that non-league style, it makes it very hard for defenders to deal with. And he's huge with that because I think probably sometimes our wingers are a bit too samey, and he is something very, very different to that.
Yeah, I do think also from playing non-league, football is so direct at non-league level. And if you had a player like him at that point, it would have been get the ball as quickly as you can to Oliver Tanner and get him running on the ball. So defenders would have been playing those diags on absolute swamps of pitches. So when the pitch is bad, as it was yesterday, and those balls being pinged to him from centre halves or coming out wide with bobbles on it, he's going to look good when he can collect it because he's been doing it for years, since he was 18, 19. So, I think I criticised Tanner against Wickham because he was a bit kind of rash with some of his decision-making, the balls across when he could have taken an extra touch. But I think what we're seeing now is him getting back to match sharpness, aren't we? Because he could have easily done the same with that cross for the goal. He could have whipped it first time when the ball came back to him, but he took that touch, found the space and put in. Like that goes in, I think, if Chambers doesn't touch it. It might be a bit closer to the keeper, but I think it creeps in the back post or someone is there on the back post. It was such a dangerous ball to put in, and it was just so soft in the way he hit it. It was perfect. So I think we're seeing the best of Tanner after his injury, which is really good. And I do think he was outstanding yesterday. I think all the wingers were quite good. When Ashford and Davis came on, they did really well in terms of relieving the pressure. But I think Tanner was just so dangerous every time he went forward. So fair play, Oliver Tanner. I've already talked about the Sarcevic penalty. But Tom, how nice was it towards the end of the first half that we showed a bit of that kind of dark art stuff? Tanner went down injured when they were kind of trying to take a quick corner. NG went down injured. Obviously, he came off at half time, but it felt like their players were. We wouldn't have done that 3 or 4 months ago, would we? The players are learning how to slow the game down and show a bit of the dark arts.
I think it's like with the confidence of being top of the table now. I think our team are kind of buying into we're the big boys in this league, and there's a bit more of a strut about it. So they don't mind going down, wasting a few minutes. I reckon there would have been a nervousness earlier in the season, like, oh, if we waste too much time, it could come back and bite us further in the game and stuff. But I don't think that's there anymore. And it frustrated the home fans, it frustrated the home team, and it just took the sting out of it. And I thought we were great at that throughout the game, to be honest with you. And yeah, definitely. I'm getting more and more confident each week. And like little things like that is what's making me feel confident. It's not necessarily the screamers and things like that. It's the little things like that, the shithousery, but knowing when to do it. Like Perry NG is doing it at the right times now, as opposed to the wrong times last season. Now the frustration is calculated now. And yeah, I think little things like that are signs that we're moving in the right direction, and everything we're doing has got an intention to it and a plan behind it. So yeah, loved seeing it.
NG was actually injured though, Ben. He had to go for half-time, replaced by Joel Colwell at right back. Does that show? Well, Capaccio, I think, was out injured. I can't remember if BBM said that in his press conference. So Colwell at right back, what did you think?
I think when you've got a squad our size, you've got to have players that are able to do everything. They've got to just jump in and sort of fill a role. I think what you need for a right back for a lot of the way we play, especially, is energy. And if there's a player that's got energy, it's Joel Colwell. Doesn't stop running, isn't afraid to stick a foot in. Of all the options on the bench, probably the best pick there. I mean, you can move someone like James or Fish out to right back if you want to, but
I just not for me.
Not the way we play. No. So yeah, I thought you did all right. Generally think you did fine. But it just shows the need, and sort of when we're looking at January and sort of saying like what positions we need to fill in, it is also a case of, right, you can either go for that out and out left back, or you can have a player that's versatile in playing in a few positions. And I think that's what BBM's looking for in sort of squad players. And I think the way Joel Colwell plays, he provides exactly that. He can we all know his best role is in that sort of 8 where he just runs like a headless chicken all day and sort of just causes chaos. But there's an option there for him to get more minutes there as well and sort of provide cover if needs be.
How surprised were you, Tom, to see Louis Sibley playing for Bradford? Former Derby wonder kid. Scored a hat-trick, I think, on his debut for Derby. Now he's playing for Bradford. What a surprise.
Yeah, better than Bellingham, wasn't it, when he was first out?
Yeah,
I reckon
exactly.
He was more of a wonder kid. He did all right when he came on, to be fair to him as well. I thought it was interesting. It was a bit
probing, wasn't he? Yeah. He just kept going.
Yeah, like it helped that you had like Colwell at right back as well. I think he did well, Colwell, but like there was a couple of moments where I found myself going, no, because he'd like gone too far forward. It's like, get back. But like his energy, interception's fantastic. But yeah, Sibley was a danger. I think I think they said in the commentary, he'd only played like 16 minutes for Oxford this year. So I didn't know he was at Bradford. I also didn't know he was at Oxford. So I've lost track of his career completely. But I thought all of Bradford's subs caused us problems in that second half. I thought like it shows what can be done in like the January transfer window. They've brought in like Ashby and stuff on loan. And I think they're clever signings, and that's stuff that we can do as well with a bit of time left in the window. But I think it shows that Bradford will still be there or thereabouts. I think they'll finish second, to be honest with you, in the league. I think they'll be in the autos because I thought they were absolutely fantastic second half. And yeah, Sibley was one of them.
Yeah, I think that, to that point, they really did hem us in that second half. I think if you look on FotMob, they have a momentum kind of meter. I think from basically 55 minutes onwards, there is not a blip of blue on that because Bradford had all the pressure. Yeah. But I think before we talk about it more broadly, Ben, we defended them really stoutly as well, didn't we? We were really resolute in our defence. And I think that's, again, this is probably the game that made me believe more than any other game we've had this season that we're probably going to go up, or we're pretty much going to go up, because, again, 3 months ago, we probably would have wilted under that pressure. When you think about it, we would have kind of let one slip. We would have, I don't know, got more and more deep. We would have defended deeper and deeper as the game went on. But in this game, we just held our defensive line. We obviously bolstered it by bringing people like Will Fisher on, who came on and did some really important, came on and had some really important blocks. But we, as much as Bradford pressed us, Ben, they didn't create that much in the second half that caused Trot any problems, did they?
No, and that's shown. I don't think he made a save, did he? I think if you look at the stats, there's no.
I think he made one save. Or it was maybe it was one shot that he didn't get, and it was 0 saves.
So and that is just all down to how well coached we are now. You're spot on when you say a few months ago, Bradford probably at least come away with that game with a point with the amount of sort of pressure they put on us. But again, it's down to how well drilled, how well coached we are now, that every player is comfortable and we can absorb that pressure and we can see a game out. Because for years we haven't been able to do that. There's always been that sort of threat. But now, even though the way we're playing is sort of quite possession-based, like, we're not afraid to let other teams have the ball and we know we can deal with it. And that's huge. It's winning in a different way. Like, there's winning and sort of like winning comfortably. But I think especially in like this league where it's so tight and so many teams in and around, you look at the middle of that tail and how tight it is now.
It's nuts.
So you're going to have to grind out results, and that's what champions will do. And yeah, I'm with you. Sort of this game and sort of this run we've had between sort of January, between sort of the middle of December and now, is making me think, there's not many teams that can catch us. As long as we, touch wood, avoid injuries, keep all the solid players in January, I think we're the best team in this league, and it's going to be us and one other finishing in that top two.
Tom, their goal came from a carbon copy of Turnbull's goal from the first half. Basically the same position, the same time into the half. They were both after 14 minutes, same strike across the goal. In your opinion, which goal was better? There is an answer to this. There is a definitive answer.
Well, I'm blaming Turnbull for them scoring that goal. I think you've got to keep, those skills closer to your chest. Really, we shouldn't be scored too early with a goal of that skill, really, haven't we? But no, I think, well, Turnbull's is the better one because he did it first. They've just copied him. That's the right answer, right?
Well, Turnbull's has a lower XG, so his is as a chart, I think, is a 0.03 XG, while theirs, just double checking this, so I've got it right, is a 0.05. So
there we go.
Turnbull's is officially the harder chance.
0.05, that's basically a tap-in, isn't it? So it doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 0.03, Turnbull might as well have shot from his own half.
I think that goal, though, like, it sums up what, like we were both saying about how resolute we are at the back. Like, it took a goal like that to break us down. My one worry was, it did happen around, was it at the 65-minute mark? And I was like,
59,
they've already got momentum. Yeah, they've already got momentum. They're already pushing forward, and now they've got that goal. I did fear the worst. And I tweeted like that. I hated that second half. And I did. I haven't felt that nervous since, I reckon, Wales played Belgium at home in a qualifier where we just defended after like Bale scored. I felt a bit like that. But like, there was chances in that game. With this one, it was just constant pressure. And every time we took the ball off them, we tended to give it back to them. And I think it was because it followed that 20-minute period in the first half where we were so dominant. It felt like if we got a third goal during that period, we would have absolutely walked it. But second half, like you said, it's so comforting seeing us play a different way. Isn't just our like tiki-taka football keeping it. We let them have the ball and we defended. And I knew Bradford had played well because I left that game knowing some of their players' names. And I've realised in most games, I can't name an opposition player because we've just kept the ball and they haven't played well enough to land on my radar. So, like, Bradford are like a really, really good team, but I was super, super impressed by the way that we dealt with it.
Yeah, I think if you coming away from that, if you didn't like, I think Ashby played really well when he came on. I think Metcalf was really strong in the middle. I thought Tilton Baldwin defended really quite well against, obviously the threat of Salic and the wingers. I think people like Sarcevic, even though Sarcevic didn't have a particularly good game yesterday compared to the game obviously we played against him earlier in the season, he is a danger. He just keeps going at you, and he keeps trying to make stuff happen. So I thought Bradford were really impressive in that second half, and I can see why they're up there. I think we defended them really well, and against lesser teams than us, with lesser defenders than Osho and Chambers, they're gonna get results, and I think that's why they're up there. And I think if I'm Lincoln, I think with a game in hand, and obviously Lincoln drew yesterday, I'll be looking over my shoulder at Bradford, thinking, God, they could just by sheer will and determination track us down. And they've obviously probably got to play each other between now and the end of the season. But I think that will be a very interesting game to watch. That said,
they play next week, don't they? Do they play in the next week?
Yeah, I think they did mention that. On the commentary.
27th. Tuesday, 27th of Jan.
Oh, we will be there. It could have been 3 in the second half, Ben. Osho had a chance that I think hit Max Power potentially on the line. Him and Turnbull were having a hug. I think it comes off Power's head. At that point, that probably kills the game, doesn't it? Because it was just, I think, not long after they scored their goal. It was a great header by Osho. It's going in. And I think at that point, it probably kills the game, right? But it kind of, that was like the revolving doors moment in that half, wasn't it, Ben?
Swinging doors moment, I think you find.
Oh, sorry. Sliding doors, revolving doors, swinging doors. It was a doors moment.
There's something happened there, yeah. There was a lot of hugging from Power and Turnbull.
Yeah.
Every time I say Max Power, all I think is Homer Simpson.
Yep.
But he knew nothing of that either, did he? It wasn't a case of sort of like good defending. It was just Osho was so unlucky. Because I think, like you said, that third goal goes in the stadium. It kills all the hope from the fans at Valley Parade there. And yeah, we probably see it out a lot more comfortably. But again, it shows credit that we didn't get too disheartened from that, because I think Osho was off celebrating until that last sort of touch, because it's a brilliant header.
He evaded his defender really well. Defender's trying to pull him, and he just gets ahead of him.
He's like all over his shirt before that, and just the run round, sort of lose his man, create that space. That's massive. Like it's really, really intelligent play, and it deserved a goal. It really did. It's just disappointing. They would have topped up a really, really good performance from Osho there.
Yeah, and we've lacked threat from corners, so I think it's good to see, like, even though we didn't score, to see that moment, because there's, Ben's hatred of short corners. It's nice to have that option now in the box and someone to get on the end of it. Like, we've had a couple of goals this year, but I think it was like the last pod we were saying we miss seeing those goals from corners. It was kind of like just what we did for season after season was score those goals, even when we were really, really poor. So if we can add that. Yeah, go on. Under Bullet.
I was going to say, under Bullet, we were. I think we outshot our expected goals from corners handsomely. It was the only way we could score for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, you've ruined my thread now. Don't worry about it. Go on, next.
Sorry about that, Tom. How nice is it to see a former Welsh League player playing for Bradford?
Who was that?
Ibu Toure. He's played for Real.
Oh, there we go. Great. Oh, but no, I didn't know that. So no, you've spoken over me. You've made a mug out of me. Yeah, lovely.
Sorry.
Yeah, great.
There we go. That's all I wanted. How nervous were you though, Tom, in that second half? You said you hated it. I hated it so much that I couldn't. Like, I was just so anxious. I didn't dare check what my BPM was. But it just, I had that kind of knot probably about neck, throat level that just made me feel sick during that second half. Because as much as we defended well, it's very Cardiff City, isn't it, to throw it away with like an 85th minute equaliser?
I think it was just because it felt like this was something. If we won this game, like, it felt like a huge, huge moment in the season. And you can see that with the celebrations after the game. And I think everyone knew that. And I think that's why we saw us defending like we did. It did, like, people take the piss out of stuff like this, but like, it did feel like our cup final this year. And there's Bradford fans saying, you could see it was your cup final. Yeah, because you're breathing down our neck. And there's not many teams in that league who are. And you've beaten us at home, and you've got a ridiculous home record yourself. So yeah, it was a huge, huge game. And I felt every piece of that in the second half. It was horrible. And I think, like, it was just the combination of, like, we were so good in that first half that it just felt like when we've got that slick football, when we've got that fluid football, when we don't quite get it right, it leaves quite a bit of space. And they were constantly picking the ball up and running at this. And we dealt with it well, but it just doesn't help with nerves at all. And yeah, when the 7 minutes popped up, and like, you knew it was coming. And I was like, please don't do this to me. But again, we were just brilliant. We saw it out, like, not easily, far from easily, but we had our moments to kill it off. We got up the field, a couple of poor decisions, shots on Robinson and stuff like that, where you probably should have just kept hold of it. But we dealt with it well. But yeah, I'd like to not feel like that for the rest of the season, because that was an absolute killer.
Mate, the way we play, that's not going to happen, is it? I think
that's true.
Where the way we play is great and it's really entertaining to watch. But I think with 1-goal leads, it's always going to be nervous. You've got a goalkeeper that likes getting on the ball and taking those touches. You got centre backs that like playing out. It's always going to be nervous. But I've got more faith in this side than I have in any other side, that I think they're capable of seeing it out, which is really reassuring. But yeah, it's never going to be a sort of relaxing. With a 1-goal lead, it's never going to be a relaxing last 5-10 minutes.
Bradford, there's a great stat from Nathan Evans. He's involved at Opta. He said that Bradford City, they're unbeaten in their last 7 home league games that have kicked off at 12:30, going back to May 2016. 1-5, drawn 2. So only obviously 7 games across 9 years now, or 10 years now. Sorry, I forgot we're in 2026, and they won the last 3 in a row. And during that time, they'd only conceded 4 goals in total, and never more than once in the same match. So we absolutely destroyed that record, because Valley Parade it's a big ground, it's a noisy ground, it's not an easy place to go, and they've made it a bit of a fortress this year, and obviously in previous years as well. So it felt like a massive win. To your point, Ben, in the second half, there were chances as well, and there were moments where I thought in the second half our decision making was particularly poor. There's moments where we're on the break, there's 2 or 3 players running through, they would pick the wrong pass, they'd go left instead of right. I think there was parts where we'd go to Willock when whoever's playing on the right wing, Tanner, was free, or Robertson would be bringing it through, and he'd play a poor pass instead of a pass with conviction. And I think, to your point, we could have had chances in the second half. There was the moment where Ashford was clean through on goal, Tom. I think it was Ashby on the halfway line, absolutely hauls him down, goes for his ankles as well. He gets a yellow card. If he gets past Ashby, he is basically through on goal. Do you think it was more of a yellow card or more than a yellow card, or was a yellow card the right decision?
I think it was a yellow card. I think, like, it's so far from...
It's so far from goal.
So far from goal. I don't think it's that. I know in the commentary they're saying it was quite high. I don't think it was really. It was just cynical more than anything. You have seen them given, like, what's the word? Like the one, like, was it Rolls at like a Wembley against Spurs? Yeah, where on it was Eric Dyer, and you're like, it's cynical.
Lucas Moura.
It was on Lucas Moura, but like similar blokes. But like, I think in those situations,
most speak Portuguese, to be fair.
They do, yeah.
Good. That's what I meant. And I think I know myself. No, I think in that situation it's only a yellow. There's so much he needs to do to get anywhere near goal there. There's people covering, and I don't think there's anything malicious in it. It's just cynical. So for me, it's just a yellow. Like the referees bottled a few other decisions in that game, but I don't think that's one of them.
Ben, did you enjoy? Well, you think it's
I think you will.
Oh, sorry, safety case.
So I think it's high. I think it's dangerous. I think you look at some of in the Premier League, if that goes to VAR, that gets given as a red. I think it's.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
I think that's flawed. I think that's the problem. I think you're right.
I don't, though. But I think under the law and the way it's gone, I think that's a red. I think it's nothing to do with like Ashford through and scoring. It's not a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. I'm not looking at that sort of area as a foul. It's high, it's up above his ankle, and it's stud showing. It's clear, dangerous play, and it should have been a red. And I think the referee, when he looks at that, and when it comes to sort of like the referee's review, he'll get marked down for that because, yeah, like I said, it's just high. It's nothing to do with the denial of goal scoring opportunity. He's properly gone at the top of his ankle and raked down. You look at probably a bit different, but like Gordon's against Van Dijk for Newcastle. There was another one on Van Dijk the other week. It was very, very similar to this, and they were both given us reds. If there's consistency across the leagues, admittedly, they've got the hindsight of VAR to see it. But I think if it goes back, it's red.
I take that point. I think I can see why the ref's given it as a yellow, and I think the defender disguised it quite well by pulling him down. But I think when you watch it back and you see the raked stud, I think that's when VAR would get involved because they go, there's potential for violent conduct or reckless
serious foul play, isn't it?
Serious foul play. Yeah. So I think for only time seeing it, the ref probably got it right, and especially for the league we're in, you're going to get challenges like that. I thought Bradford there were some moments in the second half where they were a bit canny in the second half and tried to bully us a little bit, and I think it was really good that we didn't let that happen. I think there was one Metcalf on Turnbull, on Wintle, where Wintle's played the ball back and Metcalf catches him with a stray elbow, and I think they're trying to bully him, and that's when Wintle went off for an injury. I think Turnbull and Sibley were going toe-to-toe for a little bit, and we didn't back down. So I think we didn't allow ourselves to be bullied in that second half, and I think we stood toe-to-toe against a very physical, strong side. So I think that second half, as I said earlier, today was a game where we had to go and get a win. And I think if we'd gone and beat them 1-0 and it had been a bit of a cagey game, I would have gone, I'm still a little bit unsure. But the fact we were so good in that first half and then we were so good in the second half defensively and for a different reason, I just really believe now that this is a team that's destined for promotion. Look, it could all go tits up in 20 games, but it just feels like we are the best team in this division, and that showed that we can play both ways. We can play really nice slick football that tears teams apart, but we can also dig in and dig out the result when we needed to. I think my man of the match is either Chambers or Turnbull. I think it was Turnbull's best performance for us. Tom, who was your man of the match?
Wintle, I think. I think mainly for his first half performance. I think him and Robertson. I thought Robertson had a fantastic game. I think it's between those two, really. I think there'll be mentions of Osho and stuff as well. But for me, I think Wintle has been sublime for us this season. He's gone back to the underrated theme again, hasn't he? But it's Wintle for me.
Ben?
Chambers for me. I think just did everything right. And the leadership and just talking, the communication around it as well is huge. He's really becoming a very central, important part of that, and deservedly as the captain's armband at the same time.
If you look on FOTMob, please sponsor us. Chambers was their man of the match, but Turnbull got an 8.3, Tanner got an 8.2, Osho 7.8, Robertson, Bagan, NG, Wintle, Salick, all in the sevens. The only players who were below a 7 were Willock and Trott. And I don't think Willock was... that's only because I think Trott didn't have that much to do. And I just don't think Willock was bad. I just think he wasn't as involved in the game. It felt like we went down Tanner's side more than we went down Willock's side, which is fine. But when
his yellow card will knock off points as well, won't it?
Yeah. Was there?
Which wasn't a yellow.
No, I don't think it was a yellow. I don't understand the law around. If you have a ball at the side of the pitch, why do they wait for the one that's coming off the pitch? Because he was stood next to a ball that he could have picked up. And I think Willock assumed that he was going to pick it up, which is why he punched it away, because it actually would have sped it up if the player had just picked up the ball. He wasn't delaying the restart. He was trying to speed it up. I forgot about the penalty that Willock potentially gave away. We'll talk about that before we get onto the Twitter. Tom, do you think that was a penalty? His little yank on the arm? I don't think it was.
No, I'd forgot about that completely.
Yeah, I meant to talk about it, but I forgot. No.
Ben, I don't think there's anything in it.
Cool. Moving on. Twitter.com/VFT Ninian. 50 tweets, I believe we've had. So, we've had a couple of fallow weeks, but now we're back up to the good numbers. First one to David Carter. Don Ballard from Orient would be a fantastic addition to the squad, assuming Robert won't want another season on the bench and Chelsea might want Kelly Munman back or loan him out somewhere else. Ballard, I think, did he get a perfect hat-trick yesterday, Tom?
He did indeed, yeah.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah. Like, I think when you look at the strikers in that league, like Salick's obviously fantastic, but like he's not as clinical as he could be. But Ballard is just, he's probably the best striker in that league, I reckon.
Lee Sanders, that is up there with my favourite ever away days. Great day. Davis and Ashford did just what we needed when coming on, running the ball away from danger. Is Valley Parade, this is a great shout, is Valley Parade the best example of somebody getting bored halfway through expanding the stadium on LMA Manager on the PS1? Ben, that is a great shout, isn't it?
Spot on. That's exactly what it is. I like that.
It's so bizarre because it is two absolutely fantastic stands, then an old shed behind the goal. It's like so bizarre. I just wonder if they just ran out of money after the Premier League goes, right, we'll just leave it at that.
The only thing it's missing is sort of like the Bristol Rovers style sort of like gazebo on the one side. I think if it's got that there instead of like a proper covering, I think it's got everything you need for a proper mental stadium.
Look, I like it. It's better than the identikit stadiums that we're seeing at the moment. Rick Lewis, a great win against a very good team. We look better with Ollie Tanner back in the team. About time that Turnbull started scoring no long range shots. I think we've got one hand on the title now. BBM will take us up. Nick Inca, great day out. Matthew James Ali, Brian Big Balls Murphy. That is all. Jamie O'Connell. There's me thinking we was going to lose due to the Manager of the Month award for BBM. Then when I see his freshly shaved face before kickoff, I accepted the loss at that point. I was wrong. If the New Balance deal is up at the end of season, who do you want to see as our new kit supplier? Bring back Causeway Sports. I'm going to take it old school. Striker, spell Strika. Tom?
I quite like us to have Nike, just because we haven't, even though I know they give some like shit kit. But like, it feels like we're just missing one from the collection there. So I wouldn't mind that for a season or two, even though I don't think it'd be very exciting.
Ben?
I like that Reebok are back in the game. There's something old school about that. Yeah. So like they've done some good. They're Charlton and
Charlton stuff's quite nice.
Yeah, I think the Charlton stuff's good. And are they franchise as well?
Dons, I think this season.
Yeah. So like, yeah, that would be quite a fun one to have.
Or the Cardiff City retirement home, MK Dons. Callum Patterson. Now Curtis Nelson's going there as well. Mendes Lang. He is injured. That's why I forgot about him. Rob Westall. Osho's best game. Great battling quality. Yeah, he is. I think he did his ACL.
I stopped myself saying that as well. Yeah.
I did forget about that, but he's genuinely injured. He has to have an operation. Not on his nose. Rob Westall, Osho's best game. Great battling quality second half. Concerned about right back depth though, as well as left back. Great win. How many would have taken the draw beforehand? And in the spirit of 2 new chances next week, would love to hear the BBM paparazzi one catch on at the CCS. What was I going to say? Osho's best game. Yeah, to the guy who stood behind me at Leyton Orient, who spent most of the game going, he's a liability, and said after 50 minutes, we need to get Osho off. I hope you're happy. I hope you had a nice day. Sellers, massive win and did well to resist all the pressure at the end. Bluebirds, Tim Hartley, think we may just make the playoffs this season. Hugh Thomas, just travelling back from Bradford. My daughter got a puppy before Christmas and called it Barry. My own dog is called Murphy, and my wife wants to get a second dog. Oh my God, moment. We've got to call it Brian, so we have Brian, Barry, and Murphy. What former players would be a good dog name? Oh, what former players would be a good dog name? That's a really good question.
Gunner?
Turner? Did you say Turner, Tom?
No, Gunner, I said.
I said Turner, but we said it exactly the same time. So Turner. Did you say Jazzy, Barnum, Bob?
Jazzy. Jazzy is the dog's name's class.
Jazzy is.
Or Barnum, Bob.
Guido. After Guido Bergstaller.
I think Neil. We've had a lot of Neils, influential Neils. You know, Alexander, Etheridge, Warnock. And it's just funny giving like a normal man's name to a dog. Always funny.
Yeah, good. I think we've got some good ones there.
There's a bloke I follow on Instagram who's got a bulldog and he's called it Clive. And every time he talks to him, says, "Come on, Clive." That makes me laugh every time.
Perfect.
Baz T, great result for today. With so many players proving some fans wrong. Question for the pod: what's your worst ever football opinion that you've ended up being proven wrong about? I once took the piss out of my Liverpool mate when they signed a poor player in Mo Salah. I probably said when Erling Haaland scored for Man City that he'd struggle in the Premier League because it was a different league. But how wrong I was.
That's where I've seen you for. Those clips of Rory Jennings. You're his double act, aren't you?
Rory Jennings. That man is a fucking moron. Ben, anything you want to say?
Went on Radio 1 on Newsbeat Live talking about how bad of a manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was when he was appointed for Man United, only for them to slap us 5-0. A lot of my mates still don't let me forget that one.
Yeah, but he was a bad manager for us, so I think he had some confirmation bias. Tom?
I remember when we got to the Premier League, I announced to all my friends that you can't have a Premier League fantasy team without Kimbo Kyung in it. I was like, it's an absolute steal. It's going to be points all over the place.
Did score a big goal. Really One big goal.
One big goal. And God, I was smug that week. But yeah, that's probably... I don't have many controversial opinions, or I've just forgotten them all.
I've forgotten them. I say things in the moment that I forget about, like Yusuf Salek wins aerial duels against Curtis Tilt. Amity, at what point do we need to give Callum Chambers a song? Deserves some, and he's growing into that captaincy week by week. Was outstanding yet again. I think we need something Wu-Tang related, 36 Chambers. So I'm going to go with that. I'd like to see the crowd all rapping in unison. Crystal Watts, upper fucking Bluebirds. Richard Endicott, waiting for the inevitable Calypso Collapso. It's going to happen, isn't it? At this point, would you prefer plucky 8th or a playoff final loss to Luton? It's a bit pessimistic. Richard.
That's negative. Even, yeah.
I think we'll be fine. Anyone? Any advances on that?
No, not playing. Not playing that game.
No, refuse to acknowledge it.
All right, you've stumped us, Rich. Ned Thomas, top of the league, top of the home table, top of the away table, best goal difference. Feels weird that we're doing really well on all metrics, and it's still not clicked. Some people will say it's still not clicking. No, I'm joking. It is funny because, I think there were times where we were top of everything, and people were saying we're still not playing that well. We still need to be doing more, but we're top of everything, which is ridiculous.
It does feel like that a little bit still. I reckon, though.
I think
there's more gears to go.
Yeah, we haven't done a 9. We were so good for 20 minutes in that game, but it was 20 minutes, and I think that's why you get the. It's just the juxtaposition between a first and second half like that, where nothing stuck for 10 minutes in that second half. So it feels like if you could put that together, and we've said it before, we'll have thumped the team. We haven't really thumped the team yet, and I still think that's to come.
I also do think it's a little bit of the Cardiff City disbelief. We haven't been in this position for so long. And I think we're still all just kind of tempering our own expectations a little bit because we're not used to being top. We're not used to being this good. We're not used yesterday, I think the Bradford game's the first game of the season where we haven't had the most passes and haven't had the most possession. I think it's the first time it happened in 26 games, which is ridiculous for Cardiff City because we're used to it being a rarity that we do dominate passes and possession. So I'm absolutely fine about it at the moment. GG the Bluebird, the first 50 minutes really impressed me. Expecting their press, we kept things simple and played long knowing we'd grow into the game. Special credit to Osho too, terrific performance. Gerright would have been perfectly happy with the point, but that is one heck of a statement win and proper revenge for earlier in the season. Another 3 next Saturday and we'll start streaking away from the chasing pack. Hugh Kellett, Salick just gets Cardiff, give him the keys to the city and the statue. James C. Roberts, in my head, I told myself if we won today, I would let myself start believing we are going to win the lot. So are we winning the lot or will we lose to Stockport next week and have a crisis? Both things can happen. Both things can happen. Rod J. Osho, excellent today, as was Turnbull. Favourite ever January transfer, except Wits. Favourite ever January transfer, boys? I'm going with Uwan Raydan. I'll think about it properly, Ben.
I really enjoyed that loan period of Lex Immers. I thought he was fucking phenomenal.
He was
then
phenomenal,
we signed him permanently. And oh my God, all he wanted to do was play darts.
Yeah, that's
Can't
true.
blame him.
Yeah, Tom?
I've literally been playing with a darts flight all podcast. Right, put that down. I don't... This is where, my football knowledge, right? I just mentally block where we sign. I don't know if people are right or left-footed. I don't know when we sign them and what windows. So I'm just going to say Lex Immers because I haven't got an answer for myself.
Oh, Fabio. I love Fabio.
Yeah. Not Jeju. No, not Jeju.
Oh, Omanias.
We've had some stinkers, haven't we?
We've had some terrible ones. Yeah, we've had some terrible ones.
I'm just going to have a little look at the 2021 season and see if anyone came in January. Oh, Perry NG. He was a January transfer. I knew there was a big one I was missing.
Oh, yeah.
Perry NG. He signed in January alongside Max Waters. Hey. So Perry NG came in January from Crewe, didn't he, alongside Max Waters. So I'm going to go him. Johnny Williams, same window. Could you remember that? Madness. Crisis Heron, he's tweeted just a photo saying fuck off chicken. Bluebird Coxey, could Dye be deserving of the proper double L pronunciation too soon? No, I'm going with it. Turnbull from now on. And you're going to hear me catch myself every time going Turnbull. No way, Turnbull. So it's adding time to my day. Chris Ashman. I didn't mean to double lisp. Now we better believe it. We are going to win the league. Osho man of the match today. Chambers close second. Please buy a fullback soon. Tom Lang. Biggest cabbage patch we played on all season. Thought Dye Turnbull was outstanding today. Nice to see him having a spell similar to last season before his injury. Hope it's just a precaution with Perry. Otherwise, a fullback is needed sharpish. Upper BBM shagging blues. Matt Bluebird, impressive second half performance as we really had to dig in and put bodies on the line. Fantastic win, and we marched to a big lead in the table. Robertson, my man of the match, some classy touches in play. Well done, Osho, too. Best game to date. William James says, great first half. The midfield were untouchable for most of the game and thought hard for the 3 points. Made the 6:10 a.m. bus for myself and RJ's pies worth it. Gareth Jones, although it felt tense due to how big a game it was, they rarely threatened our goal and can't remember Trott making a save. I checked, he made no saves in that game. Gareth Dunning, we've seen his side step up when it matters. That first half was immense. Took it to them and the press was a joy to watch. Harry Dickens, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate finally seeing a Dye Turnbull rasper. Ben, 1 to 10?
8, because it's not, like you said, it's not quite the big foot through it thunder bastard, but it was a lovely place, sort of place finish.
Tom?
7. I think it's too early in the game for it to have to be close to a 10, and I agree. I think we need him to put a foot through it. Like you want a 92nd minute Thunder Bastard to hit 10. So if you're using that as a scale, I think 7.
Big question from Carl Morris: where and when was Italia 90? Where and when was Italia 90?
Istanbul, 1987.
Spot on. Well done, mate. John Walsh, Callum Chambers, a player reborn, already a serious player, a serious player of the season contender. Sorry, read that the wrong way around. Gareth Davis, Joe Johnson, David Hockney, Johnny Bairstow, Gareth Gates. Your boys took a hell of a beating. Dynamo as well, the magician. Amy Patience, worth the 4 a.m. wake-up call. We made it hard work in the second half, but 9 points clear of third isn't bad. Huge win. James Webber, everyone except you need a backup to support Bagan, but we could also do with a like-for-like replacement to help Salic. He looked knackered in the second half, and Robertson is more of an AM. John Parking, anyone? Parking? Sven Carr, when and where? I can't imagine John Parkin fitting into the New Balance shirts very well at all. The Puma shirts he wore weren't particularly well-fitting, but the New Balance ones are a lot smaller. Sven Carr says,
especially.
Yeah, I know, he's a big boy, isn't he? Always was. When and where is the VFTM promotion party night out taking place? Details to come after Mansfield, all in our fancy dress. Jay Mills, yes, boys. Yes, Jay. The Turnbull goal we've been waiting for. Scored off a set piece and all before half time. In the words of the birthday boy Yusuf, I didn't have that on my bingo card. Get in, Bluebirds. Lee Bowen, clean shaven, manager of the month, has still got the job done. Some balls on Brian Barry Murphy, big balls Murphy. Rodri, huge win, spelled HIWJ, have that manager of the month award. David, BBM, no beard, no problem. Is there anything this man cannot do? I wouldn't like to try it. I think he's a genius. David Charles, great win, terrible ref, no surprise there, but still a good game to watch. BBM called that right. Osher and Chambers worked well. Midfield 3, awesome in patches. Glenn CCFC, at what point do we start discussing Mr. Brian Barry Murphy's knighthood? What a win. I don't know if he'd like a knighthood. But he needs some recognition, that's for certain. Paul Carey, BBM deserves massive credit for his use of the squad. All come in and put a shift in, managed to keep them all happy. 2 home games next, and Lincoln Bradford to play each other a week Tuesday. Will be hopefully close to 10 points clear by the end of Jan. Promotion looks inevitable. Paul Turner, who I think is a Swansea fan. I'd be amazed if you don't win it by 15 plus. Interesting. Thanks for that, Swansea fan. Joe Backhouse, Bradford's a shithole. He is a Swansea fan. I just had to double check that. Joe Backhouse, Bradford's a shithole in real life and no bar in the away end, Dallas section. Great 3 points, though. Get me home. Ian Ballinger, Bradford is a fucking bonkers place. It has a massive Star Wars window in the away end. Looks like one of those orbs that flies through on the Death Star. Connor Ashley, seeing Whittle shit. I'll post a picture of it, I think. Seeing Whittle shithouse. God, I'm struggling with my words. Seeing Whittle shithousing to the Bradford fans when he was on the touchline, injured, made my afternoon. What shithole, but 3 points. We're on the HMS Pista League, methinks. Keith Howells, shout out Keith. Hope you enjoyed your mod weekend last week. In Maidenhead, I believe it was. We'll be guaranteed promotion by the end of March. BBM's Manager of the Month award, not a curse, thank God. And Bristolian Bluebird, how long has Joel Bagan had a tattoo on his arm? Doesn't look like a young Jeffrey Dahmer anymore. Chrissy, that's Joel's mum, if you are listening, sorry for the Jeffrey Dahmer comparison. Joel Bagan's got a tattoo. What a lovely player Joel Bagan is. And I thought he looked particularly good going forward yesterday, and I think we did miss him in the previous game, so it's great to see him back properly.
Just grassed him into his mum for having a tattoo.
I'm sure she knows.
That's what I was thinking. And you're like, yeah, she does now because you said grass.
Sorry, Joel, if your mum didn't know about your tattoo, but everyone could see they were watching the game yesterday. Twitter.com/FT Ninian. We've reached the hour mark. Ben, do you want to do your predictions, or should we talk about transfers and then Stockport?
Let's do the predictions next week. They won't change, so yeah.
They will not change. We've revisited our prediction tables from the start of the year to show how little we actually know about football, and we're going to show it on this podcast. Why does anyone listen to us? Who can say we know nothing? Tom, the embargo has been lifted. We've managed to sign a player, Harry Trier, and God loves a Trier, as Tyra. God, I spelt it wrong. Harry Tyra in goals. A lot of people seem to question whether we needed a goalkeeper, but BBM so eloquently put it. There's something to do with the restrictions around us being able to sign an emergency goalkeeper. I think it's because we have a lot of youth goalkeepers within the squad. Sorry, so it might mean that we can't sign an emergency in the same reasons that other teams can. With Horvath potentially going, I think he's moving to America. With Alnwick gone, we probably did need a third goalkeeper, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've lost 2 of our main goalkeepers, of course we need a goalkeeper. I've been a little bit baffled by also we're losing. Like Horvath is clearly never going to play a game for us again. Alnwick's gone. And you've only got Turner. Like, of course we need someone in. And yes, Trott is clearly our first choice. But that doesn't mean we can't we need another permanent keeper there. It's too risky not to have it. We can't just have Perry NG as our backup. So yeah, it's good to
like that. There is something about that I really like though.
There might be something in that in the future, an all-rounder, like in football, just to have someone who could do it all. But
what did I say earlier? You've got to be versatile and play different positions.
It's true.
But it kind of, that NG being our backup goalkeeper harks back to a time where it was far more chaotic. BBM is clearly not going to allow that to happen. He's not going to be that ill prepared because he's a details man. Ben, how nice is it that we've signed a player that we were in for in the summer? I think the talk was that Tyra was one of the players we targeted in the summer, but we got Trott instead. It's clear that BBM likes him. He was on the bench, I think, for Everton in the first game of the season, which is why he didn't come to us. But there's clearly a reason we've gone back for him. And it's nice that BBM's being back to get his targets, isn't it?
Yeah, and BBM's clearly involved in the scouting process, which is huge. We're putting a lot of faith in him to sort of redevelop this squad and get things going. He said to the scouting network exactly what he wants. And it's good that then the club's in a place where we're going out. If we're not getting them in the summer, we're getting them in January. Because Turner's good, but
he's still a little raw, isn't he?
Yeah, there's still moments that you can see he's not played a lot of senior football. I don't think this is going to be him going out on loan and sort of getting senior football, but
no,
we do need that bit more of experience cover on the bench as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Turner does sort of drop down to the third choice goalkeeper for a while, which is fine. He's still only 22, which for a goalkeeper is very, very young. There's plenty of football for him to play, and he'll still. I think at some point he will. There's a very good chance he could become Cardiff City's number one, but we need that sort of experienced goalkeeper now. And there's no guarantees that I don't want to say it, but there are no guarantees that Nathan Trott is going to be here next year. So rather than sort of panicking, if that transfer doesn't come off and some bigger club comes in, and you could easily see a Premier League, the way he's played this season, you could easily see a Premier League, sort of lower Premier League club thinking, oh, he'd be all right.
Yeah. I'd like to
it's know. A worry.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the terms of the agreement are, because if we go up, there's an obligation to buy, which I wonder. This is what I never understand, because you have an option and an obligation. We have an obligation, which means if we get promoted, we've already agreed the deal that we're going to sign him. But what I don't understand is if that could be usurped. If someone could come in and go, we want to offer you £2 million for him, does that open up a bidding war, or do we effectively have carte blanche to sign him, and then we can decide if we want to sell him if someone comes into him? I don't know. I don't know is my answer. January transfers. Remember the 2022 January window? Cody Drammer, Tommy Doyle, Alfie Doughty, Jordan Hugill, Uche Ikpeazu. Cody Drammer won Player of the Year.
That's not bad with a January signing. Yeah, Doyle was good. But he's
that rescued our season.
And Hugill did. Hugill ended up with about 4 goals that season. Even though he looked he would look blowing as soon as he stepped on the football pitch.
Respect for that.
Looked like he smoked 20 tabs before he walked on the pitch. Any other signings we want? There's ongoing talk. Tomaran Biancheri coming back from Man United. Talk I'd heard is that a deal may have been agreed, and they're trying to push for it to happen. Obviously, embargo's been lifted now, so that might happen this week. We still need a fullback.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? I think that Bradford game kind of shows that we do need a different type of striker there, because Salek didn't get much joy. I thought Tilt largely dealt with him, right? And that's where you need to jazz it up a little bit. And I think, we've got Robinson, but he's not quite a goal scorer. He's not going to get you. Well, he is a goal scorer, but he's not an instinctive finisher, like a fox in the box type. So I think we need that type of striker in our team. And we clearly just need cover full back. But outside of that, we've got depth, we've got players, we've got versatile players who know how to go into a system. So I'm not panicking. If we didn't bring anyone in, I still wouldn't be panicking at this point.
Ben, would you be panicking?
Yeah. No, I think Tom's right. I think anything comes in now is a nice to have. Especially for a fullback's probably the way we're doing it, but I think we could make do until the summer if it's not the right player. I think the one thing I think BBM's definitely not going to do is go, we'll sign whoever just because we need a body in that position. They've got to be the right person, and that's huge because, like we said last week, if you sign someone for the sake of signing someone, you end up with the state of the squad we've had for the last few years. So I'm Tom. I agree. Yeah, if no one came in, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But everything now would be nice to have. I'm still not convinced by the out and out striker. I think someone in sort of the 10 or like the sort of rotate across that sort of attacking role would be more beneficial than an out-and-out striker, just because I don't think anyone who comes in has got to get ahead of 2 sort of championship quality strikers. And I don't think that's going to be easy for them to do. So I get the idea of having options, but there's only so many spaces on that bench as well. It's not like the championship where you can have a massive bench. We're still stuck with 7 on the bench.
And our squad can only be 22 players with goalkeepers on top. So it's a smaller squad this year. I know homegrown under 21 rules are different. Sorry, Cabba, January transfer. Forgot about him as well, lads. He basically saved our season that year.
It's funny how the last few years it's been, well, up until last year it was bad summer, try and rectify it in January with loan players, and then repeat the same process again.
Yeah, throw shit to the wall and hope something sticks. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that was our recruitment. Like, yeah.
They've got that Latin across all their jackets.
Let's look ahead to Stockport next week. Stockport currently in 4th in the table. They are 10 points behind us. They on a 3-game winning streak. I've beaten Huddersfield, Harrogate, and Rotherham. Yesterday, Ben, they played Rotherham. 3 own goals in a 5-goal thriller. They got 2 of those own goals. It's going to be an exciting game, isn't it?
It is, and that Rotherham, the own goal for Rotherham is spectacular.
It's incredible.
I mean, like an all-time great own goal. So if you haven't seen that, look it up on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. It's unbelievable when you see it. They're an interesting side, Stockport, aren't they? I can't decide if they're... I feel like they're underperforming, but they're still, what are they, 4th? I think a lot of us had them sort of picked for sort of like pushing for the top 2. And they're only 4 points off it, but I don't think they've been as good as they should have been this year.
No, I think they would have expected to kick on a little bit more because they've been there or thereabouts for the promotion for the last couple of seasons. Obviously came up from League 2 and were knocking on door last season. And I think with the league being as it is, I think they saw this season as their opportunity. But I was thinking back to when we played them earlier in the season. They were probably one of the better sides we played at that point. And yet we still came away with a draw. And it was harder going than it should have been for us. But they didn't really... Again, they didn't really create as many chances as they probably could have, and they probably didn't worry us as much as they could have at the time. So it's a strange one. I think, Tom, it's another important game for us, isn't it? Because they're being in 4th. If we beat them, we'll go 13 points clear of them, which is daylight between us and 4th, and then that just it increases the breathing space, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like at this stage of the season now, it's like you want to start striking like teams off the list, right?
Yeah.
Where you go, right, that's another gap. That's them gone. Or we'll play Bolton. That's them gone. And yeah, it's a big game for us. Like we can't afford to lose it. I think it was really important we won the Bradford game because just the momentum shift. This one, it's just, we can undo that good work by losing this game. But we've got to this stage now where I don't think we lose this game. Which I hate being confident about these games, but that's what we've come to now because we're playing decent football and we keep getting results at home. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident going into this one, and I think it'll be another team we can check off, hopefully.
BBM loves to tinker, Ben. Do you think he keeps the same team, or do you see some changes? Obviously, NG might be injured. We might have to contend with that, but do you see him keeping the bulk of this team together after Saturday?
No, he'll never do that. I think he picks a team he thinks is best to win the game, not just who's playing the best, like on form. I think if NG's not fit, it sounds like Capaccio will be fit, so that's a big bonus. We're not sort of...
I think he said Capaccio, Lawler, and who was the third player? Kellyman should be back. He said they were doubts on Saturday and they should be back.
It wouldn't surprise me to see 2 of those come straight back in for this game. Possibly Kellyman on the bench, just because of the way his injury record's been. But yeah, it will just be nice. I think this game's bigger for Stockport than it is for us. I think we can go in that, and a draw or a loss isn't the end of the world for us. Whereas if they lose this, you are suddenly then going, they're probably not going to be in the top 2 race. It's probably seals playoffs for them. So I know it's only January. It might be a bit too early to say that, but that's how it feels at this stage. So there'll be changes, but I think, at home as well, you've got to be confident, haven't you? I think Tom's right to have that sort of small feel of confidence.
Tom, what's your prediction?
2-0 win.
2-0. Salek double. Salek brace.
I reckon 1 for Isaac Davis and 1 for Robertson.
Oh, Ben? Predicky?
I was thinking 2-0. 2-0 I was thinking as well. Willock and Salek.
Didn't I say we were going to beat Bradford 2-1? Did I get that?
I was going to go back and check. Someone definitely said 2-1, but I couldn't be asked to see who it was.
It was definitely me then. I think you both said 3. I think.
I think so.
Yeah. I said 2-1, so I was right. So I'm going to carry on my hot streak, and I'm going to say 3-1 Cardiff. Salah hat-trick. I'm going to keep that on that until the end of the season now.
God, that'd be nice.
That would be good.
335 quid off a fiver yesterday it was for a Salah hat-trick. Get anyone near it, but it could happen.
Good to know, though.
Yeah, good to know. Good odds.
That footage of him with that lad's phone is unbelievable as well. So good.
Happy birthday, Yusuf Salek. I think it was his birthday. Was it yesterday? A year since he signed as well. And it's like a year to the day since we beat Swansea 3-0. What an absolute riot we've had. I think that's it for this week's pod. Ben, what did you think? Did you like this week's pod?
I thought we were good. I thought you boys were on form. I struggled a bit early on, but came into the game towards the end.
Yeah, we'll have words about that, Tom.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my performance.
Yeah, I thought you were good this week, Tom.
Solid.
Yeah, no, give yourself an 8. I reckon an 8.
Yeah. Okay. Even after Lucas Moura gate. Okay, I'll take an 8. Yeah, no problem.
Look, we all say bad things. Some of us tweet them. Look,
and then
don't ever
delete
listen
them,
to
don't they, Ben?
Yeah, I did delete it. I don't want some anonymous account giving me shit. Twitter.com/VFD Ninian. If you are an anonymous account and you want to give me shit, you can find us there. KOFI.com/VFD Ninian, because we do this for the love, not the money, but you can give us money at KOFI.com. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. You should say that at the start. Always forget. Leave us a review on Spotify, 5 stars, please. Get your questions in for next week. We'll be back after the Stockport game. We'll see you then.